How do you make yourself fit into a female-dominated work environment? So, my team literally just has 2 guys, myself included, and we don't really get along that well, and the rest of my team is all female. I have never worked in such a female-dominated team, and I am finding it a little difficult to adjust. As a guy, I feel like I frequently can't be myself and am being constantly judged. It is like I have to constantly second-guess every single thing I do or say because everyone around me is so sensitive. Whenever the team is just hanging out, my female coworkers are always talking about their own stuff, and I constantly feel that I don't belong to the team. We just had our first team social and I felt really left out, and I just wish my team had different people whom I do get along with so well. What am I doing wrong and how do I adjust? I am in college and this is my first real job. I work on a 20-person team with all mostly women, just 2 men, me and a 65Y. I don't find it to be mostly girl-focused, but that could just be my perception, or maybe my field is different. Everyone has a master's or PhD. But it is adjustment, and I think you'll get used to it. Find a common interest. It can be anything. Hiking, movies, books, travel. You have to find something in common or it might be tougher. They have their thing they bond over, which you feel you don't share, and that's fine. So find something you can share with them. Just don't try to relate to them about female stuff. No opinions or advice. And yeah, try to chat about your interests, hobbies as a way to break the ice and see if you have anything in common. Other than that, just work. It's 100% personality. Also, slowly ease into being yourself. I work in a building where I'm the only man. I've been there for quite some time, and only the people I directly work with on a daily basis I'm comfortable being more of myself around. I play it safe because I like my job. Just focus on the work, ask and answer relevant questions, and don't try to force a dynamic. Honestly, this sounds more like overthinking things. It can take time for people to decide you're okay to work with. Once they do, they'll start to get to know you if they choose to. You don't have to be friends with your coworkers. Just be polite, professional, and concentrate on the job and tasks at hand. It's not about male or female. I'm in a job that has a 2-to-1 male to female ratio, and it's similar for me. I just don't give a **** because I'm there to do my job and make money, not be someone's buddy. Coworkers are people you have to interact with. Friends are people you choose to interact with. You can choose friends from a pool of coworkers, but that's option, not mandatory. Do great work. It's your job, earn your paycheck and let the results speak for itself. You do you. If you feel judged, ignore it. Be what you are normally, and if someone has a problem with that, they can come talk to you about it in a mature way. The rest will get used to you. Also, this is definitely about personalities and not men and women. Don't view them as women, view them as your teammates. I work in a female-dominated office. Only 2 of 8 of the executive team are male, myself included. I found the best way to fit in is to be really great at something. I used to be a computer guy in a previous job, and I took this role on in my new organization. We had IT support from a big set of offices about 20 minutes away, but it is good to have someone on site. I got to meet the whole building, approximately 150 people, really quickly and every time they needed my help, and were pleased that I was there. Now I am invaluable in people's minds and people trust me, and they talk to me all the time. Other members of the executive only talk to a few people and they feel less connected at work. What industry do you work in? While networking is important, work isn't Facebook. It's work. Just do your job well and be friendly. People tend to warm up over time with experience. I recommend that you stop forcing your way into private conversations in the meantime, unless the people having the conversations seem open to you joining. This is how I feel as a woman working in male-dominated industry like IT. The same way you fit into any environment. Try to make them like you and find common interests. I work an hour. Just be kind and professional and never physically touch anyone, not even a hand on a shoulder, and it shouldn't matter that you're a guy. What kinds of things are you saying that your coworkers are sensitive about? What kinds of conversations are you forcing yourself into? Unbutton the top 2 buttons of your shirt, smile more, and wear shoes that enhance your calves, thighs and butt. Seriously, I'm joking. I am female and work with mostly men. Most are nice, but I really only like a few enough to want to spend my personal time with them, but that might be even more true with a female team. Either way, I am just not going to be into the same things as most people, and that is okay. Find the ones you share interests with and talk about those things with them. I work in a department of 100, but worked across the hall with the 100 over there a few years ago. I really only want to see 5 or so on each side. That is life. I do my job, don't care about anything else. Greater than I frequently can't be myself and am being constantly judged. Yes, you are. Greater than it is like I have to constantly second guess every single thing I do or say. No, you don't. Greater than I constantly feel that I don't belong to the team and that I have to force myself into the conversation. No, you don't. Just work. I used to work on a team with mostly females and we would usually have just one guy on the team. They would relate to us in different ways, like show interest in our conversation by showing he was interested. One guy would tell us gossip or ask us about our work experience. I remember seeing on one of the other subreddit to be the guy who brings donuts or something. I know with COVID it might be hard, but doing something nice can go a long way. Dude, I just got out of a job where I was the only guy on my team of about 9. Definitely hard to adjust, but I just spoke about animals and somehow survived. But if you don't like animals, you're screwed. Everyone around you is sensitive? Are you sure you're not just being unprofessional or at minimum ignorant to social cues? Sorry dude, I'm a guy who has worked on largely female teams and never had a problem, but from how you phrased your question it seems like you might need some self-reflection on your behavior. Schmidt? I feel the same way being a female in the military. I think you have to put yourself in their shoes. I've had similar but opposite problems at work, for example, working on a team of all men who are very insensitive about what they say and do. Who am I gonna complain to? My male supervisor? I just chose to stop seeing them as guys and see them as people. I would bring fresh baked cupcakes into work sometimes. They slowly started to accept me and make me feel included, but it takes time. In the meantime, you should reflect on what you're doing and how you're acting, because odds are if all of them are being weird, it's probably because you're being weird, ya know? Imagine how women feel in most other industries. Are you guys similar in age? Good to know if it's just a gender difference or other factors like age comes into how you are experiencing this as well. And how long have you been in this environment? I wonder too if you are coming into it with assumptions that end up self-perpetuating and making your interactions harder. I work with 40 women and 1 gender-fluid man. Like in any larger group, there are people too much for me and others more on my wavelength. The gender of the person does make a difference, but it's not everything. I've been surprised by how well I get along with some of the females who I'd first assumed to be too sensitive, emotional, all the female stereotypical things. So keep your assumptions at the door and just be yourself. And give it some time. I'm Camp. Some pointers from personal experience. Don't joke around, especially don't make naughty jokes. Just because someone on your team brings up something or jokes about it today doesn't mean that it's okay to talk about tomorrow, or ever. You can't predict from one day to the next when a previously acceptable remark is going to become unacceptable. It's not worth the risk. Head down, mouth shut. Women over 40, unless you look like Captain America or a pro wrestler, when they start to get familiar with you, they're going to make remarks about your physical condition and point out the things that make you different from what they call a real man. Don't let it get in your head, because eventually it can give you a complex. Groups of people need an outsider, someone they can gang up on to make themselves into a unit. If you step out of line, you're going to be that person. It doesn't have to be something you actually did or said. It could be something someone thinks you thought. Don't get involved if they start to bicker and tear each other down. Be completely neutral.